Hello and welcome to the NEETTA Black Show. This is our wrap-up of our past week series where we have a lot of confusion going on as to what this is all about. You got a lot of Black people saying that they don't want to know if white people own their family. And to those Black people, we say, we understand. That means that these shows are not for you. Just because Black people disagree with something that other Black people are doing doesn't mean that it's going to be not done. And I had to explain that to them. We have people that are saying, they don't want to talk about, they don't want to deal with reparations. They get along with white folks. They don't see any reason for reparations. And I tell them, these shows that we do are not for all Black people. It is for the Black people that want to know what's really going on, that want this information. So if you feel as a Black person that your family does not deserve or require or even want reparations, then there are thousands and thousands of shows on the radio. You simply go to another show. There's no reason for you to listen to the show and then say, I disagree and I don't want it, so we shouldn't be asking for it. No. If you don't want yours, please believe yours will go into the treasury for Black folks that do want it. So feel free to opt out at any point, and we will just keep on going with what we're doing. This is not a reparations show. This is not a reparations issue for every Black person. When we walk into a room and we're talking about Black issues, some people don't feel like they have any Black issues. There was a lot of talk about the Black woman that was had an exchange with the Black president at his town hall meeting, and she was saying, the situation that she's in as having lost a lot of her resources and whatnot, and feeling poor again, and getting to that point where she's feeling like she has to go back to Frank and beans just to get the, to be able to feed the children. And I listened to the Black president telling her, well, I have 2 daughters. I have this. He cannot even begin to compare himself to middle-class America now. He can only go by what he maybe used to feel or used to know when he made a certain amount. But he is now a part of rich America. So for him to say, I feel the same frustration, I have the same pain that you have, I go through the same things that you go through, well, that's not exactly true. Now he is among that Black elite, that Black group that has more money than they know what to do with, and so no, he cannot quite feel the pain of those Blacks that have lost their home to foreclosure. He has not lost his home to foreclosure. He cannot feel the pain of Blacks who have lost all the money in their 401k. He has not lost all the money in his 401k. He does not feel the pain. He cannot feel the pain of those that have lost their health insurance because they have lost their jobs. Because after he has lost his job as president, he will still have one of the best, if not the best, health insurance policies, health care policies for him, his wife, and his family that anyone can have. So, no, he will not be able to feel the same frustration and feel their pain, and it just makes it appear. I wish that he had said that, because what he said made him appear as though he was patronizing or just spitting, the same old campaign slogans to this black woman and to black middle-class people by making them think, well, I feel the same thing you feel. And it made him seem like he has so many times, which is probably why she says she's tired of defending, is because he appears now to be unsincere. He appears to be just spouting cliches and different things to these middle-class black people, when middle-class blacks see the things that he is doing on a daily basis to try and get whites back on their feet and back to work and all this stuff. And he has failed in his addressing of middle-class black America. And white folks put him in that position. He is the Eddie Murphy character from Trading Places. White Democrats bet themselves and bet white Republicans that they could find run a Negro for president that would shut down the Republican Party and would give white Democrats everything they've ever wanted. And that is exactly what happened. So you can pretty much imagine the end of Obama's term, or even already white Republicans having to pay white Democrats that dollar in the restaurant because they lost. White Democrats were able to find a Colin Powell type and Condoleezza Rice type to run for the Democratic ticket and give Democrats what they wanted. Everything from environmental stuff, no matter if it costs jobs, no matter what it does to the economy, as long as white independents and white Democrats are happy. It doesn't matter what the homosexual situation is doing to Negro neighborhoods, as long as white Democrats have the white homosexual vote. So, when it comes to the situations that we put out for the black community, we put out information for black America. Now, much of the information that we put out also can be used by blacks that are stuck in white America. But at no point should blacks feel that they have to be a part of these campaigns that we are doing. You don't have to be a part of any of this. If it is something that you disagree with or you don't feel is for you, then by all means, as I said, opt out. Okay? So we're going to go ahead with the show. And for those that are feeling tired and they've been waiting for the black president to, the Negro president to do these wonderful things for the black community and We heard a lot of bloggers, we saw a lot of bloggers saying, black bloggers, saying that the president should not. There's a young lady, Robin, and she kept saying, and I didn't even get into a debate with her because clearly she's young and she has no clue, that the president is everybody's president and should not be doing things specifically for black people. And so we have to examine when black folks say that, especially coming from black folks that consider themselves to have overcome. We have to examine when they say this because to find out if they're telling the truth. And if you had a Jewish president, he would be pushing a Jewish agenda. No matter that he works for all people, he would have a loyalty and he would be pushing an agenda of Jewish people. If you had a Hispanic president, yes, he would be the president of all people, but he would be doing it from a Hispanic perspective. He would be doing it from a Hispanic legacy, and he would be pushing a Hispanic agenda. When you have all of the different presidents, and people think, when they think president, they think white, but you've had presidents with Irish in them, and so they have pushed Irish agendas. You've had presidents that have had, different cultural white people, cultural family traits in them and have pushed those agendas. But the bottom line is white people work to make white America better for white people and white children. So why wouldn't black people expect a black president to make black America better and for black people and black children while he is pretending to be the president of white America? Okay? So when we examine her statements, we know that not only are they misguided statements, but black people have gotten very tired of explaining to children, to young people, why Obama has not done more for black people. And he and Michelle, they have tried to compromise in that they can't do anything substantial for black people, but they can at least expose white people to more black things. So they have these black events at the White House, and that's their way of compromising and saying, okay, we're going to do some black stuff. But when you, on the day-to-day basis, you have gays pushing the gay agenda. You have white women pushing the white agenda. You have Jews pushing the Jewish agenda. You have white Republicans pushing the white Republican agenda. You have mulatto Native Americans pushing the white Native American agendas. And then you look for the black Native Americans, the original black natives, and they can't even get a meeting. You look for the black voting bloc, the black Democratic voting bloc, and they can't get an agenda. If you're not one of the celebrity civil rights people who also had a hard time getting a meeting, if you're not one of them, if you're not a black celebrity who also have a hard time getting a meeting, this black president appears to be available to all white, but seems to be blocked by his staff and whoever, and seems to be limited when it comes to anything having to do with black people. So that is a very frustrating thing for blacks who voted for him, thinking that he would initiate not just change for white America, but they had a right to expect a Negro president to make things better for Negroes in white America, and they simply just did not get that. That's not what they got. And he made it clear that not only is that not what they're going to get, but he wants them to vote for him again, even though they're not going to get that. So he is having a difficult time, and he may have a problem getting black people to vote for his promotion of white people. He may have a difficult time getting black people to support him as he supports white people. That's asking a lot of black people. So we're going to go ahead and get into the show. We just wanted to kind of clarify that for the people that were saying that this reparation thing was not for them. If you feel that it's not for you, you are absolutely right. It is not for you. And there are plenty of shows that you can listen to with topics that may be more in line for what is important to you. All right. So now, for those people that have gotten tired and have waited for the past almost 2 years for Obama to do something for black people, and they are tired and weary and all that good stuff, I'm going to give you a little point that we did last week. You just keep on going. Don't you wait for me. There were times when Harriet Tubman got tired of walking. There were times when Malcolm X got tired of talking. There were points where Nat Turner got tired of preaching. There were points that Frederick Douglass got tired of reaching. There were days when Marcus Garvey got tired of fighting. There were days when W.B. Du Bois got tired of writing. There were answers on which civil rights blacks got tired of debating. There were answers on which black communities got tired of waiting. There were responsibilities that black parents got tired of yelling. There was black history that black elders got tired of telling. There were black issues that black institutions got tired of facing. There were black dreams that black children got tired of chasing. So some may waste time on things that don't make any sense. And when it comes time for a decision, they straddle the fence. And some are afraid to do more because they don't want to lose what little they have, so they don't even move. And some lost what they had. Now they hold what they've got. Scared to risk it again. Faith in God takes a lot. And though I may fall back from what I'm supposed to be, you just keep on going. Don't you wait for me. So that is dedicated to the young lady at the forum that says she's tired. That's dedicated to all those blacks that are tired of defending and tired of waiting for Mr. Obama to see the error of his ways and start using this opportunity that he has been given, even though whites basically have used him like a woman of the night. He still had an opportunity to use this. Had he not been more about the idea of being president, if he had been more about asking the universe, why was I given this opportunity? And he took that bold step to say, there's a reason I've been given this opportunity. There's a reason as a black man. But first of all, he would have had to have seen himself as a black man in order to understand the enormous opportunity and the enormous responsibility that the universe had given him to represent proudly and correctly black people and black men. But he, unfortunately, he has lost 2 years of that opportunity in that he has been more concerned about what white people think of him in his celebrity status as the Negro president. He has been more concerned about what white people feel about him and think about him than he was about actually doing something with the opportunity that the Creator gave him. But he has 2 more years. So maybe at some point he will realize that this is not about a second term. If the second term happens, it happens. But this is not about a second term. This is not about gaining white Democrats more seats. If they get more seats, fine. But this was not about that. This was about a black man being given the opportunity to represent himself, his people, and black men, period. And unfortunately, as a celebrity football player, if this was a celebrity football game, Obama would have definitely created quite an error. He would have fumbled that ball. He would have fumbled that opportunity. He has 2 years, a little over 2 years, to recover that ball. And maybe he will, maybe he won't. But at the end of this 4 years, even if there is another 4 years, at the end of this, he will have to, deal with the fact that part of his legacy will have been that he took, this opportunity and failed to do what the things he could have done to raise to restore the image of black males, black self-esteem, black children. He has, like so many civil rights people, like so many preachers, like so many entertainers, he gave them the pie in the sky, the fictitious, we are the world, we have overcome speeches, but failed to do the significant things that could have been done to correct a great many wrongs. And white folks knew that he had the opportunity to correct some wrongs, which is why they tried so hard to control him, to make sure that he did not lean towards that way. They were very cautious in choosing him to make sure that he was of the character of black male that believed that white people were better, that white people were the best. They took very serious care in making sure that they chose a Negro president that would do as he is told, not caring whether it is right or wrong, not caring about the correcting of any wrong. Okay, so it's going to be a tiring 2 years, but I think more and more black people have stopped making excuses, have stopped trying to explain what is in his mind, what he's thinking, and just started taking their own opportunity to use this time to encourage black children, to encourage black men to be what President Obama should have been to the black community. Whether he dropped the ball or not, there's an opportunity for black males to be what Obama should have been had he had the guts and the courage to use this opportunity wisely. Okay, so, there, out of everything that happens, the opportunity exists. So, I don't want black people feeling frustrated. I don't want them feeling like they were sold a bag of wooden nickels. I want them to take those wooden nickels and turn them into a commodity for the black community. And that is the opportunity that they have. So remember, all of the people of the past got tired at some point, and but they didn't give up. They had black folks that they felt were against them instead of for them, and yet they still had to continue and persevere. So, definitely for my college students, I really want them to make sure that they are not discouraged by the lack of things that the Negro president has done for the black community. And now you have people to say that the black community has gotten worse under Obama than under the white president. And they, too, out of frustration, are not necessarily telling the truth. The effects that you see, this is why we work from January 1st, 2000 to December 31st, 2009. We worked to put in certain fixes to the black community so that 2010 would not be worse. There are things that you constantly have to do, and right now we're working from January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2019 to make sure that 2020 is not worse. You can't just sit back and say nobody's doing anything. You have to make sure that before you say that you are a person who is doing something. Before you talk about what others are not doing, make sure that you are getting up every day and you are doing your part. It's easy to sit back and do nothing yourself and talk about what people are not doing. It's easy for some blacks to sit back and say that, blacks shouldn't be fighting for reparations. That's because those blacks, their loyalty is to whites, not to the black community. And you can always tell where a person's loyalty lies by the things that come out of their mouths. So, when you're talking to and listening to Obama as the black president, you know that his loyalty does not lie in the black community. His loyalties do not lie with black males. His loyalty does not lie with the black family. His loyalty is to the image of white America, to the image of white society, to the image of white people. And so that is unfortunate, but that is what white people hired him for, that is what white people paid him for, and that is what white people expect of him. Now, if blacks expect something different of him, then it's time for black people to stop sitting back and complaining. And they're going to have to speak the truth, speak that truth to power. And they're going to have to, hold him accountable, call him out on those black issues. And unfortunately, black people have done their own failing in their responsibility to hold Obama accountable to the black community. If he has not done what they feel he should have done, then whose responsibility is it to correct situations in the black community. It is not white people's responsibility to correct the issues facing black people in black communities. That is black people's responsibility. So if you have never written a letter to Obama at the White House, you might want to start writing that letter. If you have never visited your capital in your city, you may want to visit that capital. Go in there, find out what's going on, get information on the things that your tax money is paying for. If you feel like black tax dollars should be going to black communities, then learn how to write up those proposals for your representatives. Learn how to put the things in place in order for them to write it up into a bill. Learn how bills process through your legislative process. Find out how those bills become laws, and find out which laws are on the books that are detrimental to the black community, and start fighting to get those laws out of the black community. Okay, so we have a responsibility, and while he has dropped the ball, many black people as well have dropped the ball in holding him accountable, and that includes civil rights blacks, congressional black caucuses, which you hardly ever hear from. Why do you hear so much from the white Republican representatives? Why do you hear so much from the Democratic, white Democratic representatives and senators? Why do you hear so much from the gay and lesbian representatives? Why do you hear so much from the Hispanic representatives? What happens when you get to the Congressional Black Caucus? Where are their meetings each day? What committees are they meeting in, black committees that are working on fixing the situations in black communities? Where are these meetings? There should be meetings held every day by the Congressional Black Caucus, but they get up in these seats and they get comfortable, and unfortunately, black people allow them to get comfortable and remain comfortable. So, you talk about celebrities, there are, things that you have to call them out on. This whole initiative, His Name Is My Name Too, got a lot of celebrities saying, that's bringing up old wounds. They are in a fantasy life. You got to understand. Once you get to the point where you're making $1 million a year, $5 million a year as an entertainer or an athlete or whatever, you have knocked out 99% of black people from your life. You are surrounded by white people. You're now going to white places. You're going to white restaurants. You're being invited to white parties. You're now, when you were only making, $20,000, $30,000, you had all of these black women around you. Now that you're making $5 million a year, you got all of these white women around you. Back in the day when you were in the neighborhood, you had all of these black males that were around you. Now that you're making $5 million a year, you have all of these white males that are hanging around you and that you're hanging with. So you're going to places where whites are dominant, and you have two choices: either remain connected to your blackness and risk not having a $5 million, but only making $1 million or $2 million, or you have to conform, and so that you can get that that next big thing. An entertainer would have to be absolutely retarded to go and spend $49 million on a house, a mansion. They talked about how LeBron James went to Miami. He's done created this fantasy superstar status in his mind for himself. And so he gets this $100 million contract, and he takes half of it, and he puts, he decides that he's going to, get this $49 million mansion. Now, whether or not that's true or whether or not he actually did that or followed through on it, remains to be seen. But if it is true, why would a Negro athlete who could be hurt at any moment, who could be, disgraced like Michael Vick at any moment, who could be turned on at any moment, who would have an accident like Mr. Burris at any moment and end up in white folks' jail, why would you take such a large chunk of your resources that could be used to do good and hand it right back to your white slave owners just so you can live in a fictitious world next to them? So, you know that the retardation that you see out on the street is a direct correlation to the retardation that these children are seeing in black entertainers and black athletes. So this initiative is going to make black entertainers look a little deeper into themselves. That's what it's for. So, we're going to ask some ugly questions that they're going to have to deal with. For example, how did Will Smith and LL Cool J get the same last name? Is it a fictitious name that they just made up for entertainment? If it's their birth name, how did they both get the same birth last name? Did the same slave master own both of their families? Are they brothers? Are they cousins? How they both get this name? How did Magic Johnson get the same last name as Bob Johnson? Are they family? Did the same slave master own both of their families? You're going to have to deal with some of these ugly skeletons from black people's closets. So, we're going to talk about some things. I asked somebody in a discussion, how did Regina King, if that is her birth name, how did Regina King, a black actress, get the same last name as Larry King, an old white man on a talk television show? How did that happen? Okay, so, you live in this fantasy entertainment world, and you're able to avoid a lot of the real questions, the real issues that are facing black America. And until something major happens where you kind of got to, speak out about it, black entertainers live in a almost 100% complete fantasy world. And so, this will shake things up a bit. That's just the way it is. But, when you talk about black entertainers, how do black entertainers get the last name of Andrews, Adams, Buchanan, Bush, Cleveland, Coolidge, Carter? You got P.C. Carter. How did he get that Carter last name, if that is his birth name? If he does not want to deal with it, he has every right to say, I don't want to know, I don't want to deal with it. But you're going to have some people that say, you know what, I do want to know. I do want to find out. This is something that, I need to deal with. You got a homosexual cross-dressing entertainer, this Tyler Perry thing, and black folks who call themselves religious, Muslim, Christians, whatever, yet they are promoting this transgender, cross-dressing blackmail to their children. And so whose responsibility is it for perpetrating? Who made the decision to put Tyler Perry as the next big thing? What did he have to do to become the next big star, the next big black star? And, you know, who does he owe his allegiance to? Who is the puppeteer? Who is the puppet master that is pulling the strings, that is promoting this image of a black man in a dress and a wig and makeup, high heels, and fake boots to black males in the black community? And why are black people taking it? Does Tyler Perry, is he owned by, you know, somebody else, a white person with the same last name? How did he get the same last name, Tyler? You know, how did Perry as his slave master? She's going to have to deal with that. Now, that may be a made-up name, and we will have to go by his birth name at that point. But black folks have been duped, bamboozled, and hoodwinked for quite a while. And as an entertainer, a lot of times you go in and one of the first things you do is you change your name if somebody in the entertainment industry already has that name. You make up a name. But, you know, going by their birth names, they're going to find some ugly skeletons in the closet. So, you know, you're going to find a white person named Brooks with the last name Brooks and a black person with the last name Brooks. You're going to find a Kobe Bryant, and then you're going to find a white guy who has the same name, Bryant. You know, so it's one of the things, if you're going to fix the black community, which is what a lot of black organizations are now saying, okay, we want to fix this thing. Well, in order to fix it, you're going to have to deal with some of the things that you have been avoiding for quite some time. So my entertainers are feeling a little nervous. I mean, remember, they got a lot of money riding on their getting along with whites. You got a lot of money on them that's riding on them not rocking the boat, on them, you know, willing to do whatever in order to please whites and get that money. So, you know, they're feeling a little nervous. But entertainers have caused a lot of problems that you see in the black community because they have sold their souls for $1 and perpetrated many of the things that were detrimental to the black community. So we can't feel too sorry for them. They've made a huge living as a Negro indentured servant in that they have perpetuated white supremacy and black inferiority for years. And now they may have to face actually, getting to the point where they have to risk it all in order to fix the damage that they have caused. So, you know, the female entertainers were a little bit more, they were, some of them that we spoke with were a little concerned because they have the little white girlfriends, and I don't know if I want to know that her family owned my family. We were friends. But the black males seemed particularly nervous and concerned because there's this, these white folks pay my salary, they pay my money, and I ain't trying to stir nothing up. So I have to tell them, that's fine. You can remain in your fantasy world for the rest of your natural-born Negro life. This is not for you. But there are a lot of black people, including black entertainers, that want to know, that feel they need to know, and they are serious about fixing things in the black community and fixing the things that they have unwittingly contributed to when it comes to the black children in the black community. You got black children that care more about what color hair a celebrity has, or what kind of shoes a celebrity is wearing, or what kind of jewelry a celebrity is wearing, than whether or not what college that celebrity went to. A child should know what college a black celebrity went to. If they don't, then that means that celebrity is not promoting education as being something that these children should look up to and look forward to. So, you should not know more about a black entertainer's wardrobe than their business sense. And you should know what businesses they own, what businesses they run. And even with the rappers, you have a lot of children that know that, Jay-Z had this business or this clothing line or whatever, but they really don't know much about the losses that he had just by being, caught up in the fantasy world, caught up in the stupidity. And so even after having gone through that, he still allowed himself, because he has signed that contract with white folks, he signed that contract with evil, that even if he wants to do good, he can't. It's like crack. He cannot let go of that money. And every time he tries to do anything, they just snap their fingers and say, remember, we can take that money away. And because he is in love with the money, like so many other black entertainers, they are quick to jump back in line in that copper line. And for those of you that don't know what a copper line is, when whites came to this black world, when it came and started popping up and trying to get a hold of black people, and they started getting black people to believe the stupid things that these whites were telling them about where whites came from and all this good stuff. As the slave trade started beginning, because once they got enough black people to believe the ridiculous stories that white people popping up were telling black people, you got enough children to believe, enough young people to believe, well, you were able to infiltrate these black kingdoms, black towns, black villages, black lands. And once over centuries you got enough of them under your control, then, of course, the horns started showing and the real deal came out, that you are now under the domination of this white species that you don't even know where it came from. But as the slave trade began and they started taking over Negro land, they would march the Negro people in a line with chains on their, each Negro chained to the Negro in front and behind them, and they would march them to these religious dungeons, these basements under Catholic churches and Protestant churches and Jewish churches, different places, and they would hold them there until they could be put onto slave ships and taken to other places to be sold. And this chaining of blacks from one chain, having them chained to the person, chain around their neck and hooked to the person in front of them and the person in back of them, was called a coffer line or a monkey line. The coffer is just like white folks here call black folks, the N-I-G-G-R, N-I-G-G-E-R, which is a derogatory term, which means dirty, filthy animal, which is one of the reasons why, black entertainers have lost their ever-loving mind to be calling black folks this. When black folks, black entertainers call each other N-I-G-G-E-R, they're calling each other a dirty, filthy animal. And so, that's my boy over there. He a dirty, filthy animal. And it don't sound so cute when you're telling people what it means, but, white folks made it. Here, we'll give you some money. That's cool. Say that again. Do that. You need to do that more often. That sounds hard. That sounds good. And, of course, black folks, with their courtesy self, started allowing white folks to pay them to call each other the things that white folks would love to still be able to call black folks, except for the whole suing situation. But at some point, black folks will wake up and start suing the companies that black people are working for, that are paying them to still say this stuff, to now say this stuff. But anyway, so you see black entertainers that are allowing themselves to walk in a copper line, a monkey line, and fall in line and do whatever their organ-grinding slave owners expect of them. So this is going to cause them, this initiative will cause them a lot of concern. But, that's okay. That's what the different campaigns are going to do. And we have several campaigns throughout the years that are going to make entertainers have to deal with some of these things that they and issues that they themselves are causing in the black community. Our next campaign, we're going to be dealing with how whites promote mental illness, how they promote evil, and how blacks now, since integration, also promote this mental illness and promote this evil. So we're going to have to, that's going to be an uncomfortable series for black folks, because many black folks don't see themselves. They go to church and they, praising the Lord and this white Jesus, and, they use words that make them not feel like they're doing anything wrong. But, if you're calling yourself a Christian person and yet you're promoting a cross-dressing black male, then you are actually promoting. If you see black males walking down the street dressed up like a female, ain't no sense in you complaining and acting like something wrong with them, because you go home and to your DVD collection, and on Friday you're sitting there supporting and promoting the same exact thing. So, you are partially the reason that this black male now feels comfortable walking through your black neighborhood dressed up like a female. Put that mirror up there, because that part of that blame belongs to you. And so you got black people that are showing this stuff to their children. You say, you have blacks that say they're tired of all of the violence in their community and children killing each other. Yet, when you ask them, well, what, you go and look at their DVD collection, or you ask them what shows they like on TV, they're constantly telling you about all these mostly white entertainers, but all these black entertainers and black movies that promote the killing of black people. You got entertainers that take these roles where they're, calling black people out their name. They're glorifying the shooting of a black man in a movie. And then your children are seeing this too. So, as violence is growing, you had a young lady that said that violence is growing in the black community because people have gotten away from church. Well, no, sweetie, violence is growing in the black community because people are sitting up there for 14 and 16 hours a day promoting and supporting movies and shows that promote the killing of black people. You got your children promoting video games and music videos that promote black young people killing black young people. And the more you support it and promote it and support these entertainers and promote these black entertainers doing this negative stuff, the more this negative stuff is going to spread throughout your community and like a cancer. And that's what black people have right now. They have all of these different festering cancers, things that are boiling and bubbling in their community. And they pass by them each day and talk about how bad they are, and then they go home and they sit down and support and promote them. So, this campaign is going to shake some things up. So if you have an entertainer, a black entertainer that has the same last name as you, make sure you write that down on your paternal or your maternal chart, or make a notation down at the bottom of either one. And we're going to show you how to find out whether or not you are related to that entertainer. If you know of a black entertainer and that black entertainer has the same last name as one of the white entertainers, go ahead and make a notation of that, because we're going to show you how to find out how that black entertainer and that white entertainer, if those are their birth names, got the same last name. And if you are a black person sitting up watching demonic television and you see white entertainers or a white entertainer that has your same last name as you, go ahead and make a notation of that, because we're going to show you how to find out how you and that white entertainer, if that is their birth name, how you and that white entertainer got the same last name. So, it's going to be interesting, and it has already been a very interesting series. As an educator, as a historian, I enjoyed, even in pain, I enjoyed introducing this series to the black community and helping them get started on their paternal and maternal charts and their black community lineage. So today we're wrapping up the series with series number 8, and with black entertainers. Now tomorrow we're going to be starting a new series, as I said, and this series is going to really examine, for black communities, part of the Fix It campaign, what are you supporting and promoting? Are you promoting and supporting the degradation, the things that are going on in your black community? How much are you supporting homosexuality, violence, domestic violence, child molestation? What are these shows that you are promoting that promote greed and envy and lust and all of these different things? Are you promoting the very things that you were saying are messing up your neighborhood? Are you allowing your children to watch cartoons that promote greed or stupidity or retardation and all this different stuff? What are your children sitting there for 5 and 10 and 8 hours and 12 hours promoting and supporting? So we thank you for joining us for this particular series, and we hope that you will join us for the next series. We'll be putting up the information for the next series either today or tomorrow. But until then, we will talk to you on the next show, and we say all power to the people.